Welcome to another episode of the Way of BJJ podcast. As always, due to strong language, inappropriate analogies, please do not listen to this around your kids. Now let's get to the podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Way of BJJ podcast, where we talk about jiu-jitsu stuff that is highly relevant, highly entertaining, highly educational.
Yes.
Some people might even say highly inspirational.
And sometimes they can also be not relevant and also not educational.
But at least it's always entertaining.
Yes.
So,
That's the most important thing.
yeah, so as always, go ahead and follow us anywhere that you listen to your podcast. And make sure to leave us a 5-star, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but a 5-star review.
Are you not entertained?
All right, and today we are joined here by a very, very special guest. He's so special that when I told him that we're going to do a podcast, he says, I have nothing to say.
I have nothing to say. And now I've said it, and that's all you'll get out of me.
Yeah, so this is Kelvin.
Apple in my teeth.
Oh, man. Man, well on video as well, man. Jesus, man, can take you anywhere.
No close-ups.
And just for that, we're going to have a close-up as he's saying that. Yeah, so it's a...
All you'll see pretty much is Calvin's face the whole time now, just because we're petty.
Yeah, so, but as always, it's a jiu-jitsu podcast, right? So what I want to talk about today, it's more of a reintroduction of what the Way of BJJ actually is, right? So for a lot of people who are following us recently, they might think of us as just content creators, right? And jiu-jitsu extraordinaires, maestros of jiu-jitsu.
Trolls.
Extraterrestrials.
Yeah, and that we operate.
People, the guys who would not want to get moves done on them from.
It's okay. He doesn't have the mic, so you guys didn't hear that. So,
Oh,
or that we are a jiu-jitsu school owner, right? But for people who's been following us for a bit longer, you would know that we are actually a tech startup, and we kind of briefly talk about it in our pilot episode. And here we are. We're actually now going back to our roots now, because the very important lesson that we learned was the hype cycle of being a startup, right?
what? What's that?
So I think the mistake that we made earlier on is we actually started the project about 2 years ago, right? And then we're
Yeah, that's about when we kind of met and first started talking about it.
so hence the start of the project, right? But by the end of last year of 2022, right, we had like a prototype of the app that we've been
Super rough, yeah.
very rough one that we're so excited about. But because we know that it's such a good concept, and we got so excited about it that we started sharing it with the entire jiu-jitsu community, and we showed them the prototype, and people were impressed, even though it was super rough, because there's nothing like it out there, right? But we kind of hyped it up a bit too much, in my opinion, in hindsight. We kind of hyped it up a bit too much when we actually don't have the app ready in the app store for people to purchase, right? So what ended up happening is, you know what, we after having a few people beta test it, we figured out that it needs to be better, which then we went back to the lab and to make sure that it gets better. And so we stopped talking about it.
Open up a gym, actually.
Yeah, so, and that's what we learned, right? Don't start hyping up the product unless it is almost ready.
But you know what, too? It's actually, I've also read, or someone said it's better to start a product and like kind of like be ashamed of it than to like not have started it at all. So it was better that we did that. We learned from it, and the product still evolved. Like it was an important step we have to go through. We're just wiser on how we're going to approach it for a second time.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Confucius said that, right?
Yeah. 100% Confucius. Maybe Lao Tzu said it, one of those.
You got to ship something, even if it's not complete, right? And we were sort of shipping, but not really shipping through major channels yet. Wasn't ready for that, but we kind of hyped it to that level. So
Hey, it's not my fault that I'm a natural hype man.
you're a natural something.
Yeah. So that means the only reason why we're talking about it again is because we're making some strides.
We're getting close.
Yeah, we're getting
We
close.
could still be totally rejected.
So how close, Kelvin? How close?
I don't know. I'm not Apple.
I know, but process wise, right? We have submitted it for official review.
Yeah, so it's under official review for release in the App Store. We've gone through some beta testing. We've got some feedback. We've polished some things up. Now we're just making sure we cross all the I's and dot all the T's that Apple wants us to do to get it in the store. And yeah, not sure how long that's going to take exactly, but that's where we're at.
Nice, nice. So so I really do want to start again talking about like all the changes that we have made because it's like so exciting, right? Because after people beta tested it, we beta tested ourselves, right? And the whole point of actually starting our school is actually to test the app with our students to see how it can help instructors and academy owners to organize their curriculum and help them teach the students better. So what have been so why don't we start by actually talking about like why we started the app, what problems are we trying to solve, and then we can kind of talk about the changes that we've made, and then we can go from there. Yeah, who wants to start?
Well, I think like I'll start. I have the mic. It's right here. For me, what I'm excited about this app is just a way to organize your game. For me, Jiu-Jitsu is more than just like going to class. It's like it's about like yeah, the elusive word game. We all know it. Experienced person know it. Like when I look at you, I kind of generally I have an idea of what your game is, but it's still kind of like there's nothing solid that says what that is. And a lot of new people when they're starting out, they don't even know what their game is or how to organize it. Or people who kind of some people who have a game, it's not really organized at all. It's just kind of like their game just ends up just being what they've been doing for a while. So for me, what the app is just like a 3D. It's like a way for you to visualize and organize your game. So it's not just in your head. It's not just like a feeling. You actually know what it is. And then when you're researching and you're building up your game, because I think I'm a big thinking guy, but I don't believe that the thinking happens during the match. Most of the thinking happens in finding out what moves you're gonna learn and new philosophies you're learning and how to approach stuff. And you do all the thinking, in your training outside of rolling, right? And when you're rolling, you're supposed to, that's when all your thinking happen. And for me, this app is just an amazing way to organize and structureize your game. And then when you're learning something new, instead of learning something different or random, it's like you know exactly what to learn, so you're not wasting time, right? You're picking something that'll help you level up personally your game. And also to what's exciting for me because I taught a lot of private lessons, and it was easy to manage like 5-6 students, and I was able to really give them like great kind of like one-on-one attention where I can like really personalize and grow their game. But then I got like actually like pretty popular and started having a lot of private students. When I got like at one point I had like a handful of them, I felt I wasn't doing as good of a job just because then I got overwhelmed managing all the stuff in my head now, right? And I was thinking if I just kind of knew exactly, if I had a way for me to look at my private students, a system where I can just look at something, I know exactly where they're at, and so I can customize it. I don't want to like teach them something that they know, or worse, something that's like far off from what they do. If I have this app, I can manage their stuff, and if I have this thing where I can look at their game, if someone comes into me, because how many times we've had private lessons, or like, oh, I don't know what to learn, or I don't know what to learn from you, or I don't know what
That's
to teach.
actually why I don't take private lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of that exact same problem. Yeah,
For
same
me,
issue.
I have good ones because I took the time. I know exactly how to level them up. But after a while, it's harder for me. But with the app, now I can. If someone new comes into me and they have the app, I want a private lesson Tuna, and then if the app's popular enough to use, I can look at it and I'd be like, oh, so that's your game. Like you're a top player.
Yeah, so
You're
that's
not
awesome,
much.
Tuna. But you're speaking as if they already know what the app is.
Oh, they don't. You guys don't know what the app is?
Oh my God!
You
Been
guys are
just
so
under a
dumb.
rock. We need to hype it up.
So dumb.
We need to hype it up more, Calvin.
So yeah, so perfect. So Calvin will explain what the app is.
Yeah. So let's start by talking about because we started thinking about like exactly what some of the issues are for people learning jiu-jitsu, right? So I believe during the hype cycle from the end of last year, we were able to distill it down to like 3 issues, right? So I think that's still relevant, right? So the first issue was, if I remember correctly, it's like there's too much information out there, right? So there's too much information out there. There's DVD, instructional DVDs, 8-hour DVDs, with like thousands of moves. There's YouTube, you can find YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And then
And unfortunately, most of the best DVDs, you have to go through I believe it was like 1,000 hours of talking
to get to the
to get to the actual
10 seconds
yeah,
of the nuggets.
info, right? Some people love that 1,000 hours. So they love what I call Jiu-Jitsu poetry. They can listen to it all day. But some people just want to learn the moves.
Yeah, so one of the ways that we want to design the app is to make learning more efficient, right? So to kind of so people can kind of sift through and filter out all the stuff that's maybe fluff or maybe that's not as important and get right to the point, right?
And get to exactly what they need for their specific game where they're at.
Right. So that's one of the things we're trying to solve. Then I think the second thing is when, as you said, they don't have a game that's connected because they can't visually see it in 3D, right?
First of all, I got to say the app is not 3D. Just it's not.
It's not?
It's not 3D.
I'm going to correct that. The app itself is not 3D, but how it affects your mind is.
How it affects your mind is multidimensional.
Better than 3D.
Yes, better than 3D. It's the yeah.
But the app is 2D.
Yeah, so we are so basically we want to create an app where it's not just like, because we know there are like flowcharts out there, right? So there are flowcharts out there, but those flowcharts are set in stone. They created
Don't-
something.
Don't give away too much secret sauce, man.
Oh, but we do. I mean, it's people know what. I mean, people have been following us. Some people they've seen some of the stuff, so it's fine. But we are making it so people can customize and connect the dots themselves, right? So as Tuna was saying, so this way you can start seeing the what your current game looks like, and based on that, you can start building up, branches from what you already have, or perhaps you have one part of the game that's not connected to a different part of the game, and now you can visually see it and easily starting to connect them within the app, right? So that's the second thing we've been trying to solve. Then what was the third thing? Actually, it's been so long.
Called something the fragmentation problem. I think that was
That was that, right? So the third thing, maybe it's what was it?
we should have done some homework on our.
That's okay. That's okay. That then it wouldn't be on brand. If we're too scripted and too rehearsed, then that's not the Way of BJJ podcast.
Well, another thing, I don't know if it wasn't for there, but
Right, take it away while I start thinking about what
Yeah.
the third one was.
well, in the future too, this would be a great way for instructors to not only manage class, but so right now in Jiu-Jitsu, what really is a blue belt? What really is a purple belt or a brown or a black belt, right? So there really is no rule. Every book has their own thing, and I don't think there is one. But I think with our app, it'll ask an instructor if they're taking it. They're like, "Hey, what is a blue belt to you?" Or what is a purple belt to you, right? And then if you know what that is, you can have it on the app. And it doesn't have to be specific moves. It could be like, well, you have to learn this specific moves because this is what our school is about. But for me, a blue belt is someone you have your sweeps and submission that's consistent, right? So the key thing with that now is would it be neat to have an ability to track your student? That's what I'm excited about with this app, because the only way to track our student before is attendance base, right? How do you give someone a belt? Attendance base and listen to your heart. Now, if you have an app that says, hey, I want my students to reach this stuff, specific moves or this level in sweeping, this level in passing, whatever it is, you can set it up. And then so when the student is at that level, I guess they can, you can, it gives another dimension for you to track how your students' progression. But this is later on. This is the ultimate tier for the app before I say too much stuff.
Right. But that's the vision. That's the vision for the app, right?
Yeah.
Vision. So we have So I remember the third one now.
You remember the third
I
one?
remember the third one, and I think what I started off by calling it the lazy fuck problem, right? And then I think you guys didn't like that too much, but that's what I'm gonna stick with, the lazy fuck problem. Number three is that people they tend to it's easy to show up to class and just roll and just have fun, but
We rated 4+ in the App Store, just so you know.
okay, sure,
Yeah.
right? Because
So kids class can get it.
because how many times do you see people just show up to they only want to roll, right? They don't want to train, they don't want to learn new techniques, they don't want to drill or whatever, right? So it's easy to go in and have fun, but that's actually being lazy with your training, right? So you actually want to go in with intention. You want to go in knowing what you want to work on. You want to be aware of what your weaknesses are, right? So
I would
that's
say that's lazy. I say that's everybody.
exactly right. So that's why with the app now we can solve that problem, but you can already have an idea of what you want to work on.
That wasn't the lazy fuck problem.
It wasn't. What
No,
was it?
I remember it now.
Oh, God damn it.
The story we had about, you get home from work and you're just tired and you should go train, but you don't really feel like it. So maybe you sit on your couch and maybe you take out the app and you're looking at the app and you're looking at your game, and then you can actually sort of train a little bit mentally and go, oh, this is that thing I need to add to my game. So you add it to your game, and now you've done a little bit and you've started to prime your brain up a little bit. And now you're like, okay, I really want to train this thing that I just added to my game. So maybe I better get my ass off the couch and go.
Thank you. Kelvin actually just proved my point. That's exactly what I was talking about, right? So now now you get to train with intention. So which means you can be a lazy fuck and still train with intention. You get the best of both worlds now, right? You don't have to feel bad about being a lazy fuck anymore. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it also gives you a little mental motivation to get you physically motivated.
Yeah. So then that's what we all need. That's basically the three problems we're trying to solve. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. But so now we can go back to talking about what we are hoping to start accomplishing in the let's say the vision for this first iteration that's about to hit the App Store. What exactly are we gonna be able to offer in this version? And Kelvin is the app developer, by the way. So I'm gonna leave him
Excellent
to the
introduction,
to the-
podcast host, man.
Yes, I did it. Should have been in the beginning of the
Eventually we can-
podcast, but
yeah, but the magic of editing, we can.
no, I don't edit this shit.
I know. It's just being funny. So first iteration
We're not funny.
of this app is, it's going to help our students in our studio have access to the training materials that you guys have been creating and putting into the app already. What else?
Yeah, so
That's kind of the.
no, that's I know Kelvin makes it sound like it's so mundane and so boring, but
Because
it's actually, but that's actually a big deal, right? Because the genesis of this problem, this issue, was that we're like, hey, how do we make the app better? Because during the beta testing, we saw a few things. People are actually very lazy. They don't want to do the customization of the flowchart. That's where we put in so much work to design, right? Even though we have such powerful features, layers and layers of information they can do, right? But then people end up like thinking that's too much work, right? So we kind of forgot about the human aspect of it. Then we started thinking like, what? Lazy fuck problem, right? It permeates everywhere. So we started thinking, okay, you know what? How can we make this process easier for everybody and not just the few power users or the nerds, right? So the solution we come up with is, hey, imagine that you sign up to an academy, right? And then before you go in to this weeks of classes, you can already log into your Way of BJJ app account, go into your academy, and you can see the classes and the techniques and the sequences, the moves that's going to be taught. It's already organized in there in a flowchart kind of manner with the videos, with the explanations. You can already preview it, right? How much better would it make your training become that you already have an idea of what's going to be taught, right? And then so you can go in and then you can train and focus on the details that you missed when you watch the videos, right? And then after class, you're like, hey, you know what? I kind of forgot about what the moves are actually like. Then you can go back and review it. And here comes the best part. You can add those moves right into your own game directly from the academy classes, right? So that is what we're trying to accomplish. So this way, It makes organizing curriculum much easier for academy owners, and it also makes learning and organization much more efficient for the students. Right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, I was building to that, but
Didn't
you got
seem
it. You got
didn't
it.
didn't seem like you were like, yeah.
Yo, man, you
I
gotta
have
start.
nothing to say.
You gotta start low key and then build it up. I was gonna be jumping on the couch like freaking Tom Cruise,
Oh no. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna shut up for now.
but yeah. So this is me on TV. No, but yeah, everything he just said. But the next
But Kelvin could have said it better.
no, I couldn't have. I couldn't have. That was great. That's why I write code and he's on camera all the time. But not only for our students at Way of BJJ Studio, but working with other academies in the neighborhood and helping them bring the same thing to their students. And that's just our first sort of baby step into the public world with this. So, and I'm not jumping on the couch. No, you took it out of me, man.
Yeah. And you're probably too fat to be jumping on this couch. You know, don't want anything to get damaged. Yeah. That just killed the vibe, man, dude.
Why?
All right, we need Tuna to hype it up a little bit. Come on, pass it over to Tuna. Tuna, what?
Sing us a song.
What
Get
do you?
that!
What do you? It's not even in app stores yet.
We're working on it. They're
Wow.
like,
We're
they're like
make- we're making this-
actually,
we're making
shut
the same
the fuck up
mistake
and
again."
take our money. That's what we've been telling you for a year.
I know. Maybe, yeah. I mean, hopefully by the time we release this video, it's been approved. You know, because I think at least Apple has been like really communicative with us, right? You know, telling us. Yeah.
For the record, Apple is super helpful. They want app developers to get their stuff in the App Store because that's how everybody does business. So yeah, they're really helpful with fine tuning things and making sure everything gets handled correctly. So
Yeah, so hopefully it's already in app stores. So just in case, go ahead and check. Type in Way of BJJ and see what comes up. You know, hopefully you see it there. And then if you do, support us and sign up. Great. So moving on to so we got the Academy feature, right? And what is the other? What are the other stuff that we've been working on for this first release, or is that it?
We don't want to say anymore.
academies and classes, and of course, the secret sauce of the whole thing, and yeah, making that available. What else you want to say? You're getting me to repeat everything you just said.
There is nothing else.
Guys, in a nutshell, the app we're working on is this. It's a way for there's a lot of programs out there for a lot of people where you can learn from Marcelo Garcia, you can learn from what's the Australian guy again that does Seglock Senpai?
Who fuck Craig Jones?
No, I do want to fuck Craig Jones. But
Who Lachlan?
Lachlan. They have great programs where they have systems where you can absorb their information, right? But one thing is not out there is something that will tell you what information you've absorbed, and I think that's very important, especially when someone starting out young or someone strategic in their learning, right? Someone like for our age who's starting in the 40s, I think in the beginning you have to have a lot of information been given to you, but after like a year or two in your 40s, you have to really succeed in jiu-jitsu. You have to kind of like take charge of like the certain information you absorb and apply right away, right? And if you just do it randomly, it's going to be hard for you to survive. Most of the people who I find who are enjoying jiu-jitsu starting it late are very organized, right? We won't be able to hang with the young ones because when they wake up, they have their natural HGH and all the whatever testosterone built in their body, making it. While us older people, I still have to go see my doctor and get my prescription for mine. I'm like I'm all woman right now. No bit of testosterone, right? But the idea with that, so if I roll jiu-jitsu, I can't just rely on strength or whatever. I really need to be calculative with my jiu-jitsu for me to succeed against the young ones. And I notice people who are over our age, who are good, when they're learning, they just can't learn everything anymore like the young ones. They have to be very specific in their learning, right? They have to know exactly what they want to learn, and they know exactly how long it'll take. And then with the system that we have, really help them narrow stuff down. One thing you don't want is to learn something and you know it's not for you, right? And the key thing with our app is, and what we've really worked hard on, it's a reflection of your jiu-jitsu, right? And then it's a hard thing to do, like how to visualize your jiu-jitsu so that you'll understand it, your coach will understand it. And that's the key thing.
Half the reason it's taken this long to build the app to the point that it
It's because of that part.
is because it's taken me that long just for me to understand what the hell these guys are talking about and what their jiu-jitsu brain looks like, and then translate that into something that my computer brain can understand, and then to actually produce that in a computerized form. So that's super flexible and adapts to everybody.
And
So-
all the abstract shit I said, which was pretty abstract, this motherfucker actually made to do that after me in 1 year of me and him like hating each other and wanting to kill each other. But we got over that and we have this beautiful product.
Yeah, you guys don't even know the arguments that we had. You know? We're like, dude, Kelvin, what the fuck?
You're not getting it, Calvin. It has to be like this, because if my mind don't see it, you're like, oh my God, why are we wasting time?
Yeah, then Kelvin's like, yeah, why is Tuna being so emotional? What the fuck?
Calm down, man. I need you to take this big, crazy, abstract thing you're trying to tell me and make like physical rules to make a computer do that.
And I'm like, you should understand all my like 12 years of jiu-jitsu in my one sentence. So yeah, we went through a lot and we're happy with what we have and we're excited to show it to you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, that was like the best part of the
We're going
podcast,
to be
guys.
juggling mics after this. Get more mics, we could just throw them around.
Yeah, we really need a third mic, but you're not here. You're not here too often, you know. So, so people can honestly achieve the same type of thing by taking notes and creating their own hand-drawn flowchart and
No,
stuff,
they
right?
can't.
Which I did.
Yeah, which you did, right? Because I think we touched on this before as well. Like that would be honestly the second best solution, which is like pretty shitty.
I loved it and I hated it.
Yeah, which is pretty shitty compared to what we have, right? But that's exactly how the jiu-jitsu brain works, right? So, Tuna, talk about your experience of doing that and why you stopped doing it.
Well, I stopped doing it because there's so much moves. What I did first when I first started was, I wanted to know what I've learned because I was going to class every day. There's so much information, and I want to know like what I'm learning, what I'm keeping, what I'm using. So what I did was like, I broke everything down into like into chunks, into parts. You know, like the most important part is like, where did this move happen? Half guard, bottom guard, and whatnot, right? And where do they want to go? So I started off with the lockdown. Was my first time I organized it. It started from half guard, and then lockdown. Before you get to the move where you got to get your sweep or submission, you have to get there, right? And then there's lots of ways to get there, and there's lots of ways to block it. So I wrote down all the ways to get there, and then what to do if someone stops me from getting there, and what path. So like my flow chart, and then that's one page, and then only words. There's no moves to explain it. Only words, what they are, right? And then once we have my flow chart, now it would end one way. So like if I end a move, it'll either take me to, you know, when you do electric chair, you either, now it's done, you submitted the guy, it's finished. Or you get like electric chair sweep, okay? You didn't get the submission, but you're leaving the field of being bottom half guard, and you will now be on the battlefield of, if you do it properly, top side control. Then that would take me to, I would have a top of my page that says all the other position. That would lead me to that. So now when I look at my lockdown, I can look at it and I'll see where it ends, and where it ends will either take me to, it'll say go to the next page or go to a side control page.
Choose your own adventure.
Or you're done, yeah. So it'll either take me to a side control page or to go to page top side or page top half guard or top in guard. But it took me to the next level. And then I have another page on top half guard, what I do, right? And then where it goes, and then where it leaves. But what I end up doing, like for years, I would I would level up my lockdown. Okay, fine, I'd add 1 or 2 moves, but then I'll just add a little bubble there. But then add like 4 moves now in this new thing that can go back. So I have to fucking get rid of all my fucking page,
rebuild it.
rewrite all those bubbles that still don't have fucking details because I just have words, right? and then words have to be like in my brain of how they do it. And sometimes I forget the actual move itself. It's like, oh, seminar, I'm gonna write that down over here. But I haven't drilled it, I have it written down. I know the name of the move. Right? And I've been there like, oh, they've been so sweet. Oh, I totally forgot this one. I know the name, I can't do it, right? So that's how I organize all my stuff. And then I had a pager, I had like a binder, do it thing binder of all the positions. At the end of it, and then so it tells me to flip to, oh, this move, if you do this lockdown and you do this path, and you take this one, this will take you to top side. So that's how I organized it, right? But again, if I want to add something, and then it's off, like I already have, like, I have to redesign the whole page, I have to get rid of it. And then eventually, like after like mid blue belt, it was just so much stuff. I just got frustrated. But I loved it when I was learning. I would look at all the stuff, and I would be on the bus, and I would like run scenarios in my head, because I would, like first and foremost, I was a magician. And as a magician, you can't do things shitty. You can, but you'd be the kind of magicians that me and Calvin make fun of and hate.
Most of them.
Most of them, yeah. And I don't want to be a hypocrite. So I genuinely believe that as a magician, you can't show anybody anything unless you're 90% done. That's what I believe. It's kind of shitty for a lot of people, because otherwise the move is not going to be invisible. The move has to fucking be invisible. Otherwise, you're gonna get busted. Moves are not supposed to exist in magic, right? It's supposed to happen naturally, but that's not gonna happen. So I believed in mental training, and I believed in taking a technique to its highest form before you take it out in public, right? That's where my background is coming from.
Cool.
And the way you do this is you have to do a lot of physical training and mental drilling. So like if how this graph helped me out is I organized, okay, I'm in bottom half guard. Then I just run through all my paths. In bottom half guard, I go for arm drag. I got the back, I'm done. Okay, another path. I'm in bottom half guard. I look through my thing. I go for the arm drag. He puts his feet up so I can't get past his leg, right? Perfect. Then I'll go there, switch to my leg attack. So I would just look at all my flow charts, and then in my brain, I would run them. I would always turn on those neurons, right? So when I'm rolling, I don't have to worry about them. Those neurons already ran because I'm looking at my notes. So when that situation is thrown at me, I don't have to make that decision anymore. The decision was pre-made from all my stuff.
Nice. Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is it helps so much, but because it gets very, first of all, you get like a thick binder that you can't really take everywhere because it's getting
lost
so
two
thick.
of them, actually.
Oh, you lost two of them.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah. And then you also, every time you need to update your game, because obviously your jiu-jitsu improves, right? You'll be adding new moves and discarding old moves that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then you would run out of room, then you have to like
you have to redesign the whole flow chart just because you can't, I would just add them all, but eventually you can't add them all anymore. It just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, so eventually you had to give up on the idea, right?
Yeah.
So here is the flip side, right? I'm the type of person that cannot be bothered to do all that stuff, even though it helps. So that's why I never took any notes, like not a single word. Right?
Oh, I can tell when we're...
No, that's what I was gonna say. So even though I started jiu-jitsu about half a year before Tuna, but then he eventually got better than me. And that is the power of somebody who organizes a game and think about it like that versus somebody who just kind of go in there.
Because I'm not
train.
even a physical person at all.
Yeah. So I mean, I have to be completely honest and give credit where credit is due. So he got better than me, right? Even though he started later, and he calls me senpai. And I think that's a huge part of it, right?
I took the time and I organized it.
Yeah. So that is why I hope with this app, now people who are like Tuna will be able to really geek out and use it, and people like me will also be able to benefit because it requires way less work, and we're in the process of making it more and more intuitive and more user friendly as we go.
And we already have my years of experience of trying to take notes, studying other people. And what we did too is it's like, I think the hardest people taking note is they don't have a system on how to do it. I've actually read a lot of people who are academically very good at it. And when they took the notes, I'm like, there's no way in hell your brain is gonna put this into functional information. Like how they process it was more of like, so that they can write an essay about it. But I'm like knowing, like, I don't know, maybe everyone's brain's differently, but like how my brain works is like, yeah, like that's not gonna be in practical use, right? Because it's organized differently, not like more like subject matter, but not in like what they do. Does that make sense to you? So it's not like flow charty, and I think the way this is organized, and when people see it, high level guys naturally do this already. You actually do this already, senpai. You know what I mean? People who knows jiu-jitsu naturally do it. It's just hard for them to explain or say it because it's abstract. And I think that's what we did well here, really well here too. And arguing with Calvin and each other was just pretty much.
Yeah, right. Because in my mind, I organize it like that. But because I don't have the reinforcement of writing it out and being able to run through it multiple times to establish that neurological connection,
Path in your brain.
right?
It takes a
So,
little
and
bit.
that's the difference, right? So it takes longer for me to develop that level
Yeah.
of intuition.
And you can actually see that in the transitions and in between games, right?
Yeah.
When they're physically rolling.
For sure.
So
So, what do you have to say for yourself, Kelvin? Now it's the time to apologize to us that we were right all along.
he agreed with us all along. He just saw the workload that we didn't.
I know, dude. Kelvin is so awesome because it's so easy for me and Tuna to go, oh, the app needs A, B, C, D, E, and X, Y, G, and this and that. But then every single thing we say is like another, 1 year worth of work for Kelvin.
Yeah. So when they say, "Oh, just make it do this," so when Ryan's like, "Okay, I'm in half guard. I'm going to do the arm drag." Oh, but wait, he did the thing with the leg. Then Ryan's brain goes, and he calculates 50 other trajectories. As soon as they say, "Oh, just make the app do that," my brain does that. It goes. We have to do like these 50 other things to cover all that and make this thing happen because
do the math.
there's multiple layers of this application, to any application. And then I start asking questions to get down to the details, and they're like, "That doesn't matter. Like, just do this." It's like, no. Details is what I'm kind of trying to codify this into something, but
What are you trying to code? Just listen to my heart. My heart is telling you everything. So that's our communication problem.
we're getting better at it.
No, I think we carved it. Our latest.
We cracked the core of the app. Like we figured out, we had that prototype early on, and it was like good, and we showed it to some people, and they're like, "Wow, that's really cool."
and think of OGs.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the OGs, especially all those OGs in our videos who are like, "Whoa, this is great! I would pay for this."
Yeah.
So
Thank you guys.
yeah, for
This
sure.
this one is way better. I'm excited for you guys to actually check it out.
We've taken it to the point where Ryan is like
Not-
super excited about it because
Yeah.
I kept getting flack from this guy for like a year. Like, no, it's got to do, and it's not that, and it just wasn't. I wasn't getting his battlefields right because he thinks of those different frames of reference where he is in the game, and we didn't have that. It was just sort of more, what would you call it?
Comp.
It was structured, but it was not
Visually.
clearly defined zones of battle, I guess. So once we figured that out and still had the flexibility of this adaptive sort of map, I showed it to him, and he was like, "Yes." So
About fucking time, Kelvin.
we had to download one brain into another brain and then download that into.
But
a computer.
but the thing too is like it's such a weird concept. That's why this app doesn't exist. You know what I mean? We actually took
It's
the
so-
time down to articulate and solidify that abstract concept of game.
It's abstract, but it's structured.
Yes.
Right? Like we can create anything out of it now.
Yeah. Or it doesn't have to be abstract. It's actually structured, and we actually had to go through like our communication of journey to solidify what that structure actually is.
Yeah.
And
It's so like modular that it can become anything. Like
Yeah.
it will adapt to anybody's game, anybody's style, short, tall.
And the
you
thing
know,
is,
aggressive.
that's
passive.
what everyone naturally thinks of, like the people who just gets it, but it's just hard to explain. You know what yeah, you know what I mean. And it's
know
hard
what
to
you mean
explain. He
now.
knows what I mean. But yeah, so excited.
Yeah, so excited, guys. Yeah, so yeah, I think we need to wrap this up because we're gonna go.
I want to talk about the app for 3 hours more.
I know, but we have to go to Flying Beaver and grab a beer before Kelvin flies back to wherever.
Guys, keep
he-
messaging Calvin. Tell him to hurry up because you want the app. Tell him shut up and take my money. Well, I want it. I want
So
it.
again, hopefully by the time we release this episode, it's already gonna be in app stores. So the best way to support us now, since we don't have any fucking sponsors, where the fuck you guys at? It's but it's too late now. We don't need your fucking money anymore. You can support us You can support us by going to Way of BJJ app and then subscribe to our online virtual academy to get all the good stuff that comes with the app and level up your game. All right. And
Level up your game.
If the app's not out, then spam Minju and get on the beta list.
don't be a beta. Join the app and be the alpha. And just like that, any last words or we are
We're out. We're excited.
peace.